This is the question asked in today's skillrack daily challenge. So we are given a pattern like this as input, and our first task is to split the pattern based upon this colon. So here there is only one colon present, so we can split this pattern into two subpatterns. The first subpattern will be from start till colon, and the second subpattern will be from colon till end. So let us write it separately. So these are the two subpatterns that are formed. Here we can see that the integers are separated using hyphens. Now our task is to print the integers. So here the first two integers in the first subpattern are 2 and 5. So in the first line of our output we must print the integers from 2 to 5. So the integers from 2 to 5 are 2, 3, 4, 5. So we print it. And the next two integers are 5 and 9. So in the second line of our output we must print the integers from 5 to 9. And then the next two integers are 9 and 11. So in the third line we must print the integers from 9 to 11. So now the first subpattern is over. Now we must take our second subpattern. Here there are only two integers 3 and 9. So in the next line of our output pattern we must print the integers from 3 to 9. So this is how we get our output. Now let us see our sample input 2. So here there are two colons. So this pattern can be splitted into three subpatterns. So this will be the first subpattern, and 4 to 9 will be the second subpattern, and then all the remaining will be the third subpattern. So here we can see that first we are printing from 5 to 7 in the first line of our output, and in the next line, so 4 and 9. So we are printing the integers from 4 to 9, and then in the last subpattern first we have to print from 3 to 4. So we are printing from 3 to 4, and then we should print from 4 to 8. So here half of the output is in the next page. So here we can see that we are printing from 4 to 8, and then the next two integers in the last subpattern are 8 to 13. So in the last line of our output we are printing the integers from 8 to 13. So this is how we print our sample input 1 and 2. Now let us see how to write a C program for this. In our program we will be using strtok function. To use that function we have to include the header file string.h. So first I am including it. Now let us start with our main function. First I am creating a new character array named pattern of size 1001, and in the next line I am accepting the input in string format and storing it into the character array pattern. Now we have to split the character array pattern based upon the colon. So in the next line I am creating a new pointer character named subpattern, and then I am calling the function strtok, and in the arguments I am passing the character array pattern and the delimiter. So here we have to split based upon colon. So the delimiter is colon. Now this function strtok returns the tokens of every subpattern. So if we want to iterate through the subpattern, then we have to create a loop. So I am creating a loop, and this while loop works until the subpattern becomes null. So in every iteration of this while loop, again we will be calling this function strtok, and we will pass null and the delimiter colon. So at one point the subpattern will return null. So in those case the while loop would stop working, and in every iteration of this while loop we are also calling this function split. So this is a user defined function, and in the arguments I am passing the subpattern. So let us see how this works. So this is the function split, and it is of return type void because it doesn't return anything, and in the arguments it accepts a character array. So what will be present in the character array is the subpattern in which the integers are separated using hyphens. So in this function split, what we will be doing is we will take all the integers which are separated from hyphens, and simultaneously we will also print the integers. So to do that, first I am creating two new integer variables named L and prev, and for L I am assigning the value 0, and for previous I am assigning the value -1. So now we are going to traverse through the character array. So I'm creating a loop that iterates from 0 till the string length of ARR, and in every iteration, if the character is a digit, then we have to convert that character digit into an integer digit. So to do that, we will be using this formula, and since it is a character, I'm subtracting it with 48. So only then the ASCII value will be converted into integer value. So we will be performing this operation whenever the character is a digit. If the character is not digit, then the only possible way is it will be a hyphen. So whenever the character is a hyphen, then it means that we have found one digit, because in our pattern first there will be an integer and then there will be a hyphen, and then again there will be an integer and there will be a hyphen. So when we reach the first hyphen, already we would have found the integer, and the value of the integer will be stored in L. So we will be assigning the value of L in previous and again make the value of L to 0, because after hyphen we have to find the next integer. So to find the next integer, the value of L should initially be 0. So whenever a character hyphen is found, we store the value in previous and make the value of L back to 0. So we will be able to obtain all the integers that are splitted from hyphens. And in this if condition, we are also performing another operation. So here, whenever the value of previous is not equal to -1, we will be calling this function print, and this print is a user defined function. So what this function will be doing is it will print the integers from previous till L. So let us quickly see how that function works. So this is that function print, and it accepts two integers in its arguments, and then we will be creating a loop that iterates from m till n, and in every iteration we will be printing the value of I, and finally we will print a new line. So this function just print the integers from m to n. So let us come back to our split function. Initially the value of previous will be equal to -1, and only when we take at least two integers from the subpattern, then we can print the integers. So when we take the first integer, the value of previous will be equal to -1, and we will store the first integer in previous. So till now we would have taken only one integer, and only when we take the second integer, we can print the integers from previous till L. So that is the reason why we are including the condition previous not equal to -1, because if previous is equal to -1, then it means only one integer has been separated from the subpattern. But if previous is not equal to -1, then it means that we have separated more than one integers from the subpattern. So whenever the value of previous is not equal to -1, we will be calling this function print. And when we do like this, there is another problem. The integers that is present between the last two integers would not be printed, because we are calling this function print whenever the character is equal to hyphen. But for the last two integers there will be no hyphen, but the value of previous and L will be stored. So after the execution of for loop, again we will be calling this function print and pass the values of previous and L. So we will get our desired output. Now let us check our program with sample test cases. So now I have given the sample input 1 and our expected output is here. So we also get the same. And now I have given the sample input 2 and this is our expected output. So we also get the same integers. So this is the logic behind today's daily challenge. Thank you for watching.